Last month at a small fundraiser, a woman I know signed a check, smiled for the cameras, and hugged the organizer. That same week, she froze the budget for her team's races, citing being careful, and the team stalled. One visible act of good became the entire story. The deeper work dissolved into silence. Welcome to the pattern recognizer. Most people are running programs they never chose. Today we expose one of those patterns, see exactly how it works, and discover the precise shift that can set you free. Let's begin. There's a common trick the psyche plays. Do one noble thing and then stop. It feels like completion. It feels like movement. But it often isn't. I call this the aligned lie. A posture of virtue that pretends to be transformation. It promises, I am aligned, therefore I am changing. But when alignment is untreated, when it lacks consequence, it becomes a museum of good intentions. You see it across money, relationships, and projects. A donor who gives once and avoids the hard budget choices that would actually help his people. A partner who says, I'll work on my listening, and then never asks how the other person feels. A creative who posts thoughtful reflections and never opens the file marked draft. Intention replaces accountability. Image displaces consequence. Let me be specific. 2 years ago, I worked with a writer, Ava, who told everyone she was writing a book. She taught workshops, polished essays, gained followers. But the manuscript file had not moved in 18 months. The visible virtue was constant, the actual work was absent. We introduced one constraint, a nightly accounting, 60 seconds, a single committed micro-action. She agreed to 10 minutes of focused writing 3 nights a week and to report word counts. Within 6 weeks, she produced 24,000 words. The first half of a book that had been coming soon for years. That shift was small, the result was not. Why does the aligned lie work so effectively? There are 3 psychological mechanics pulling the strings. First, moral licensing. We do one good thing and unconsciously give ourselves permission to slack elsewhere. That one glowing entry looks like clearance. Second, identity protection. Maintaining the story, I am a good person, becomes more important than facing honest failure. So the mind builds rituals and narratives that preserve the image, even if they block change. Third, reward displacement. The quick hit of feeling aligned, the small dopamine hit from self-congratulation, replaces the slower external rewards of real consequence. We prefer the immediate comfortable feeling to the messy work that produces results. If we move from psychology into the esoteric, the pattern becomes geometry. In Rosicrucian inner alchemy and sacred geometry, an intentional act is like a sigil, a shape meant to direct energy. A working sigil opens a channel, it moves force outward. The aligned lie is a failed sigil, a closed loop that preserves energy inside the self. Instead of a bridge that transmits weight from one bank to the other, it becomes a glass case, admired, careful, immobile. Picture it, a bridge, tense and purposeful, delivering force, versus a museum case, polished glass, a placard, the object never touched. Which structure do you want your life to be? A bridge moves the world. A case preserves the statue of your good intention. You might hear someone object. Isn't intention valuable on its own? And yes, intention is the seed. But a seed without soil, seasons, or tending stays a seed. It doesn't become a tree. So what's the practical alchemical remedy? One compact daily shift that converts intention into measurable leverage. I call it the reality ledger. 60 seconds. That's all it takes to convert a museum piece into a bridge component. Do this tonight. Before you sleep. 60 seconds. Step 1. Name one promise you made today. To someone else or to yourself. Say it aloud. Step 2. Write 3 columns. The promise, the intended outcome, the actual result. Step 3. Assign one micro-restorative action. 5 minutes. A brief call. A correction. A refund. A sincere follow-up. Small, specific, doable. Step 4. Decide. Is this promise active or archived? Be honest. Mark it. This ledger interrupts moral licensing by forcing a real tally. Energetically, it shifts a closed sigil into a vector. You push energy outward. Practically, it trains a tiny accountability muscle that compounds. One night of practice changes the shape of months. A concrete example. Ava's nightly ledger asked for 3 items. Promise, result, micro-action. She chose 10 minutes of writing. She reported progress. The next simple rule, if you miss, state why and schedule a 5-minute correction. No moralizing, just corrections. Within 6 weeks, the file that was frozen became deliverable chapters. Don't mistake this for harshness. I honor intention deeply. Intention is the seed, but the ledger is the soil and the schedule. It insists that alignment answer to reality, not the other way around. Tonight, practice the 60-second reality ledger. Name one promise, state the intended outcome, note the actual outcome, choose one micro-restoration, and mark active or archived. Say it out loud if it helps. Finish knowing you move the energy where it belongs. One quick reminder. Small acts counted honestly beat grand statements counted as proof. The economy of reality pays out for consistent closure, not for curated virtue. That is the pattern. That is the mechanism. And that is your shift today. If you're ready to decode the full architecture of your life, detailed ledgers, ritual templates, and the alchemical diagrams that turn intention into consequence, explore my complete library at Desmarques.com. Start tonight to the 60-second reality ledger and report back. One shift changes everything. Thank you for listening. The pattern is the prison. Awareness is the key.